Okay, welcome to the motherfucking podcast for the 5th time. This podcast basically is just going to be us giving you a background of our lives from the time we met up until now. So that way, if we reference something or,
We've kind of on certain streams we'll dive into old channels we've had and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this will just cover everything before now, and mostly everything.
And also, people that listen to the podcast, it'll feel more genuine between us rather than us just being two online figures.
Yeah.
So we met back in sophomore year.
I mean, we met before that. We knew about each other in middle school.
Okay, well, yeah. Obviously, we knew of each other in
yes,
middle school. But
we got to get that background.
Okay. I was really weird in middle school.
Very, very weird. I've never been a normal kid, but Trevor was on a whole nother level, and I'm like, you know what? Not gonna get picked on by sitting over there.
I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to who I was becoming and who I was, surrounding myself with. So, I was very, very weird. Just imagine yourself in 6th or 7th grade English class, and the weird kid in the corner that everyone's just kind of like, he's all right, but he's just so weird. That was me.
I don't even think that's you. The weird kid you're talking about is the quiet kid. You were just the fucking retard in the middle of the class that people were just stop talking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's better. I'm trying to paint a better picture for myself, but it was pretty bad.
I'm gonna be honest, all right? It was brutally honest.
It was pretty fucking bad.
I was the other kid. I was the kid that was quiet, didn't say much, and just kind of got through school.
Yeah. So basically, we met in sophomore year, truly started talking to one another because at lunch, in grade school, it was always just where am I sitting at lunch,
Yeah.
So
when I was in my freshman year, I had a group of friends. They were all at the lunch. We sat together, ate together, but the next year after, they all went to a special program, so I was the only one really left, and I didn't know who to sit with. And so I'm just kind of walking into this big-ass lunchroom, I gotta sit next to some people for the rest of the year, so I want to make it someone I'm kind of familiar with. I'm looking around, I'm like, I don't know any of these people. Except I see Trevor.
And then he spots me. The worst decision of your fucking life.
And Trevor, I've just flashbacks. It was PTSD of just the stupid shit. Because in middle school, he sat at a table behind me, and I remember just seeing the dumbest stuff happen at that table. But
it was really, really dumb shit.
He was the only one I was familiar with, so I was like, you know what? Why not? I can always move to another table if this doesn't work out. And then, here we are.
The thing is, I don't even remember us interacting oh, hey, Steven, I remember you from middle school. I just remember you sitting down and then we talked like we knew each other. I don't even remember.
Well, I think there was some other people sitting there that I've talked to more than you.
There were
I think I talked to Chris than you before. I had some few interactions.
Do we want to mention last names?
Because I think he was one of Evan's friends, so I had talked to him a little bit, and I think there was someone else, but I don't. Maybe Chris. I'm pretty sure he sat there for a little bit.
Fucking worst.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot.
You don't want to fucking put their last names out there, because then creeps can search them online and then find them.
Okay, then just cut it out.
I'm not going to though.
Well, it's too late.
It's too fucking late for them. I mean,
sorry, Chris.
Anyways, so yeah, there was a bunch of other people at that table, but us really having conversation together. I first remember when I just sat at the table ranting about Smite, because I had a friend named Austin. For quite some time, and he introduced me to a game called Smite in about the eighth grade. And so we played together in 8th grade, and Smite, if you don't know, it's a MOBA. It's kind of like Dota or League of Legends, but objectively better. Anyways.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
It used to be good. It used to be
It
so
did.
fucking good. Anyways, but so I would sit and rant at the table about how broken some of the gods were, or, you know, how retarded some of their movesets were, because some of them were just fucking retarded. Hades, to name one. Anyways, I would just sit and rant, and I remember getting Steven into the game.
Well, at the time when you were first telling me, I didn't have a computer, and I got one that summer, and then I started playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got into Smite, and then so Steven and Austin and I started playing together. But that got kind of bad because Steven and Austin did not get along together. They did not.
I mean, Austin is he's a. It's not like he's an awful person. Like, he's a good person. He's kind of a good person. But just when it came to anything, if we disagreed with each other, it was like, it wasn't a debate. It was just an argument. Like, there was no sort of like
I know.
reasoning.
I was there.
It was just two brick walls yelling at each other.
I know. I was there. The conversation consists of him stating something, you going, I don't know about that, and then him going, you're retarded, and then you go, you're retarded, and then I'm like, guys, we're all retarded.
Smite.
So yeah, we played for quite some time, and then we got another guy involved, named Xander. What the fuck are you looking at?
I was just checking the audio.
Oh, okay. So we got another guy involved named Xander, who's our friend. So then Austin moved away, and you know we just kind of drifted apart. And then so Steven, Xander, and I started playing Smite for the longest time, like forever.
You should talk about Xander and your relationship.
Oh, okay. So you know, rewind. Xander and I first met. Like we didn't talk, but we first saw and knew of each other in the 9th grade in our Spanish class, and we didn't really talk quite that much, but just a little bit during like Spanish activities or something like that. The next year, sophomore year, the same year I met Steven, Xander and I had a gym class together, and so, we talked, we got closer and closer, we became friends. And then one day, Xander comes into gym, and he looks at me and he goes, what's your mom's name? And I'm like, I tell him my mom's name, and he goes, kind of just like rubs his face, and he's like, so there's a chance we might be related. And I go, excuse me? And then I asked him, like, well, what's your mom's name? Tells me his mom's name, and I said, oh my fucking god, I think we're related. Because here's what happened. Precursor into my life, I grew up in a single mother household. Well, not really. I'm not going to delve that deep into my life. But my dad, my biological father, left when I was very young, and had many other children with many other women. So I have like several different half brothers, some that I've met, some that I'll never meet, but I always knew, and dead ass, this is not me making this shit up to make this story some more believable. When my mom told me this about my dad, right, I got interested in it, and I'm like, okay, who are my half brothers? And she always told me that I was the second oldest, and that there was one brother older than me, and his name is Alexander, and he was a year older than me. And his mother's name was Annette. No shit, I've known that my whole life, but it never connected when I talked to Xander.
Yeah.
It never in my brain attached until he asked me what my mother's name was. And he said he asked me because his mom went through my phone and saw my last name. And I carry our father's last name. So I guess his mother had like a flashback.
Yeah.
And told him to ask me. And turns out, Xander, the guy I've known for 2 years, was my half-brother, my older half-brother. So we were sitting there in gym class, just minds fucking blown.
What an interesting class.
We were friends with like 3 different people in that class, and they literally were like, you guys are making this up. This isn't real. You guys are fucking with us.
I would think the same thing. Like,
Everybody does.
honestly.
Everybody does. Even people at work. Some people at work, like Alex, still has doubts that we're half brothers.
It's because you guys don't look anything alike.
I understand that, but we both carry his middle name.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that if we got a DNA test, it would prove right. Because my mom remembers his mom, and his mom remembers my mom. And they don't like each other. But anyways, so yeah, it just sounds fucking made up. But it's not, and it's just the craziest shit ever. So the three of us got real close. We were playing Smite for years on end.
Yeah.
You know, like years.
Every day we'd like try to make time. We'd text each other and be like, "You want to get on?" And we'd get on, and probably play for like 3 hours at least. And then
It was so much fun.
it got to the point where we could like play without even like talking to each other. Like our team synergy was really really good. And then
it literally just got to like Steve was saying, it got to a point where we could play an entire game without saying anything, and we would know what
we'd play out of our minds.
Exactly. We would know what each other were thinking. We just synergized that well. You know, we would play all Guardians, which are like all tanks, and we would call it the tank spank, and we would whoop ass with all tanks because we just synergized and teamed and worked as a team so fucking well. And it got to a point where we were like, we love this game so much, and we have fun on it every day.
And around that time, that's when I started streaming. On my own. Because I was talking to Austin. This is before Xander. I was talking to Austin. I didn't know you could... I had recently gotten a PlayStation 4. I didn't know you could stream through it. And this was still before I had my computer. And he was telling me about it. And I was like, I'm going to go home and try. Pretty sure the first game I streamed was... It may have been PT. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I do know what PT is. That game was the shit.
I streamed it. And got scared and stopped streaming. Because that game scared the shit out of me.
It was a very scary game. I wish they would have made the full game.
And so that's when I first started streaming. And then, I would stream on and off. And then I'd talk to you guys and we'd play. And then me and Trevor started hanging out more towards, like, what summer?
The summer of, like, sophomore year.
Yeah. We started hanging out more. And we got pretty close. And then I think I was the one who proposed the idea that we should make a YouTube channel. Because... I always had been interested in it. Like I said, I was streaming myself.
And real quick, before we continue, what's crazy that I was just thinking about, looking back, all this big shit, you and me being friends, me and Xander being friends, you know, all three of us connecting, us, you know, making a YouTube channel, us trying to go pro in Smite, which we're about to talk about. All this shit happened all, like, so fast.
Yeah.
You know, like, it was just insane how quickly we bonded and stuff like that, you know?
So, we created our first channel, me and Trevor, called It's Just Us. And
oh, good lord.
God, I miss it.
It was so surreal to have a YouTube channel and to just make videos that we enjoyed. Because I enjoyed making those videos, even though it was a pain in the dick
and they're
to
so
edit.
bad.
They were so bad. They were so bad, but I love them so much.
Yeah.
You know?
And we also dove into streaming on YouTube, because that's when YouTube introduced streaming on its platform, because before it didn't have it. It was just videos.
Yeah. Uh-huh. How many subscribers do we have on that fucking channel?
I think like almost 100 or 100.
I think we were close. We probably had like 85 to 90.
Me and Trevor were doing it for a little bit, and then we wanted to bring Xander into it. So we asked Xander if he wanted to do it with us, and he, of course, said yes. And that's when we started streaming more. We did my favorite series that we ever did was the Resident Evil 7 series.
That was so
funny.
Fucking fun. It was... I agree with you. That's the best series I think we've ever done was Resident Evil 7, because we were all engaged. You know? Some streams, like, one of us would be tired, or, you know, one of us wouldn't be paying attention. It would vary on who it was, but we were all so engaged with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we all were just so interested in the gameplay, and we were all, like, commentating really well. Like, it was just, you know... not only was it a fun experience to play the game, but the quality of those streams were so good.
Yeah.
Like, they were
It's funny because I remember buying that game. Like, this will be awesome to stream. But I've never been a huge fan of horror stuff. I hate horror movies because I'm just a big fucking pussy. I'm scared of everything. So my intention was to buy this game and have Trevor play it because Xander had already watched someone play it.
Mm-hmm.
So Trevor was gonna play it and I was gonna watch. But I don't know why I got the controller.
Here's what happened. I played the beginning part. I like horror stuff, but when I'm holding that controller and I'm immersed, it's completely different. So at one point, I just said, this is wigging me out. You are playing. And you rejected it for such a long time. I remember the exact point where I said that. Do you remember the stairs?
Yeah.
Going down the stairs? That's when I handed it off. I was like, fuck that. You are taking this. And we argued probably for like 5 minutes. And then you finally budged and took it.
And then I played the entire game.
I
played the entire game.
That was so fucking funny.
So I think that was my first like actual horror game, like playing through the entire thing. So that was just a fucking experience. So
well, and also, sorry to interject. Another amazing part of that stream, people commented. There were people watching.
We got a lot of viewers.
And viewing and commenting. I think at one point we breached 300 comments.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like,
this is when we first started streaming. So this is like a big deal for us.
Exactly. It was just so. It was so fucking just surreal that we could do this. And like I said, at the same time, we're also going pro in Smite. You know, so we were trying to go pro in Smite.
Yeah.
That kind of fell through, and the reason being is because, you know, when we made the decision, like, okay, we're going pro in Smite, it was probably like junior year.
Yeah.
Like, after we had played like probably 1.5 to 2 years of Smite, we were like, we're going pro. Mm. Keep in mind, it was 3 of us, so we would play Joust. Smite.
Joust is a 3v3 game.
Yes. Smite in the pro leagues is Conquest, which is 5v5. The map is completely different. The strategies are completely different. So when we made that decision, we were junior year in high school. So after school, we would have plenty of time to play and commit time to it and learning the strategies. But we had to completely rework our brains into learning the new strategies. And we had to find 2 other teammates. And go ahead.
Real fast. Before all that, when I first started playing Smite, I did not like Smite. I did not enjoy playing it. But I enjoyed playing with Trevor and Xander. So I started playing it, and it turns out I was playing well as a Guardian. That was my main role. And then I got into the game more. I started enjoying it. And then we went pro.
Yeah.
And then you could continue. We were trying to find...
Yeah, so we were trying to find 2 other people. Firstly, what happened was we tried to get Austin to come join us. Right? This is before Austin moved away. He was still...
Didn't we already have True, though?
No, I think our first step was Austin, which gave us 4, because we knew Austin. Austin was still here. He moved away probably he literally only moved away last year.
Yeah.
So he was still here. And then who was it first? It was True?
It was True.
So, we got into the Smite subreddit, or the Smite, LFM, looking for more subreddit.
Well, hang on. Before we delve in, there's 5 different roles. There's the solo lane, there's the mid lane, there's the jungler, and then there's the duo lane, which is ADC and support.
Yeah.
So I was the support. Trevor, at that time, because
we should get into this. We should get into this.
He was my ADC.
I wanted to be solo,
yeah.
But Austin main solo, so I made the sacrifice to say, hey, I'm going to go ADC with Steven, because Steven and I synergize well, and I can play the ADC role.
I still miss that. We did amazing.
Well,
and then Xander was the jungler, and then True was our mid laner. But continue, go ahead.
So yeah, it is important to delve into that, I think. So, we really enjoyed the game. We're trying to go pro. So, also, we live on the east side of the United States. True lives, for example, we live in Ohio. It's Eastern Standard Time here. True lives in California. It's Pacific Standard Time for him. So he's 3 hours behind us. So our time schedule's conflicted, and that'll come into play later. But we were trying, to go pro. We kept playing games. But every game, what ended up happening was the games that we won were great. If we lost the game, it got bad really fast. Like if we lost 3 times, even two or three times in a row, everyone would just be completely tilted, and we would have to get off the game because we would all say something that we were doing wrong, and then everyone ended up just butting heads, and it got really toxic really fast, and we weren't able to put in the hours, because to go pro you need to put in countless hours of play into Smite, and we wouldn't be able to gain that skill level if we just kept logging off after each loss, you know.
And I want to talk about Austin in this real fast. Austin had kind of stopped playing Smite for a bit, and we had got him back into it because we introduced this idea to him. And again, me and Austin always butt heads, so that wasn't a good idea in the first place. But when Austin played solo lane, when he played, it's not the same as when he was playing
like a year ago.
At the point we were playing. So he was playing with old strats and wouldn't change.
I totally fucking forgot about that. Holy shit.
And then we'd end up losing because we would lose solo lane, which would cause us to lose.
Well, and then their solo laner would just they would snowball and just get really fucking powerful. It wasn't always Austin's fault.
Yes, yeah.
But Austin, you know, he played in the season prior, and then when the new season came in and all these different items and stat boosts were introduced, he did not. It was a more, instead of solo lane being closed off in a 1v1 most of the map, the solo laner had to rotate quite a lot in the new season, and so he refused to fucking rotate. Like, he would just always stay in that fucking lane, and sometimes it worked out well. Most times the other solo laner just snowballed, helping with the jungle buffs, and the other lanes got super powerful as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't always his fault, but him not being able to change was another big factor of, you know, us constantly losing and butting heads. What ended up happening was the 4 of us ended up making the decision to remove Austin from the team, even though he was our first pick, because of, you know, him impeding us, impeding our improvement.
And I think that's when we all really stopped talking to Austin. Austin was pretty upset.
He
acted like he didn't care, but he was clearly upset.
He was very upset by it. I remember us having that conversation. He just said a few words, and left. Like,
yeah,
it was fucked, and I didn't.
It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good at all. But if we wanted a chance, there's no way in fuck we would have done it with Austin. No offense. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but there's no way we would have done it with him. You know?
Yeah. So at that point, Trevor got the role he wanted, which was solo lane.
Solo lane.
So for a while, we were on Reddit, on the Smite page and stuff like that, looking for a new ADC. I think I don't even know if we got people to join. Maybe we had like 1 or 2, and then we just...
I had various people message me, and I PM them back saying, okay, hey, you know, you can, you know, email me here, whatever, we can talk some more. But before these people even got back to me, True floated us the idea, hey, I have a little brother. He plays ADC. Let's get him on. At first, you know, at least for me, I think, at first the idea that he floated to us, you know, his little brother, it didn't exactly go over smoothly, particularly because the 4 of us were in the same age range, and True was, or Valor, which was True's younger brother, was years younger than us.
He's probably like 2 or 3.
Yeah. So at first it didn't go over smoothly, also because at the time Valor was a little bit inexperienced.
He was very...
inexperienced, my bad.
Yeah, and I remember him being very kill hungry at times, and that would lead to his death. And
well, that's all a part of being inexperienced. You know, he just didn't know what plays to make, and so we were like, okay, let's do it. So we had our 5-man team. We would practice all the time, and to be honest, Valor, you know, eased into it quite well. You know,
he got pretty good.
Yeah, we became a team. He got good pretty quickly, and we started scrimming. Started losing quite a lot.
I don't think we ever won a scrim match.
We scrimmed several times. Didn't win a single one. We were just completely out of our league. We were trying to... We had it wrong. We thought scrimming against pro teams would eventually make us better. But in reality, we should have just kept practicing in Conquest instead of jumping into scrims versus teams who are trying to go pro in tournaments, who are leagues above our skill levels. We should have each played ranked Conquest and played those, matches consistently,
And, like, it's just, like, because we did, where you're like, so if we're fighting better players, we can see what they're doing. If we're doing something wrong, we can watch what they're doing, maybe ask for some tips and stuff. But there just gets to a point where they know a lot more than we do, and we just, it's not learning, it's just getting stomped, and then getting frustrated, and then re-going at it, and then getting stomped, and then getting frustrated, and then it just...
It's like, for me it was like this, looking back on it at least. It's like, okay, this is a saying that a lot of people use when they talk about aliens and shit, but I think it fits well here. It's like, would you ever stop and have a conversation with a worm? Like, obviously not. We're humans. We're a lot smarter. Us going into scrims, there are these people who are just fucking so much better than us. We're not even learning. We're just, like, seeing their fucking amazing strats and trying to replicate them, but we can't because we've never seen them before, And each team has different strategies, and so we're just trying to learn and visualize, but we can never comprehend the actual technical and mechanical abilities that they had to be able to perform that kind of shit,
And I always had a flaw where I'd get to a point where I would lose and I just get frustrated, and then I'm at this point where I'm just frustrated, and I'm not like, I wouldn't say feeding, but like...
You're tilted.
That's tilted, what it is. So I'm not learning anything, I'm just mad.
You're just pissed off, you're not trying as much, you're not as motivated to win the game. You're morally defeated, is what it is.
And that happened quite a bit.
Because it is. It's morally grueling, to just get your fucking ass whooped multiple times.
Yeah.
So we took about it wrong. And then True and Valor...
the time zones just didn't
Their
help.
time zones didn't work out. They had school, so we just stopped going pro. We tried to keep it alive for a little bit, but we stopped going pro, and then...
I think that if there was a joust tournament, we could do it.
If there was a joust... Okay, if they bring joust tournaments back into Smite, if they bring joust tournaments in, no shit, I would not be sealed off to the idea that you, me, and Xander would play Smite and try to get good in joust tournaments. I would actually try to get back into the game.
Yeah.
Because we synergized so fucking well.
Yeah.
Like, it was just retardedly good. And another problem with us going pro is that we never ever did find two others that synergized as well as the three of us did.
There would be some moments where we'd synergize, but like, yeah, it just
never as well as us.
Especially as like in the lane I was in, doing lane, like you kind of have to synergize with your ADC, and it just wasn't happening.
Well, the three of us clicked so well, and it would just have been really fucking hard to find people that click that well,
Not saying that like we don't like True or Valor. I still talk to.
Well, yeah, they're nice people. They're good at the game. It's just we didn't click as well as the three of us did. So we stopped going pro, and now I don't play Smite anymore. Like
I haven't touched it.
So
I've had desires to go back and just relive the nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly.
And I miss like my favorite character, Bacchus. I was so good with him. So I just want to go back. And
it's definitely the nostalgia effect. But
I've seen some stuff on the game recently though, and I've heard they're just destroying it. Like,
it's just not fucking good.
I've heard they've been every time they released an update, there's so many bad bugs, and they just don't fix them. And then they release another update with more bad bugs, and then don't fix them.
It's just... It really did start after Paladins was released.
Yeah.
After Paladins got released, which is made by the same company as Smite and owned, Smite just got ass because they started giving all their attention to Paladins. All the money that they used to fund the Smite servers and shit went to Paladins.
Did you hear what happened? So, you know that Paladins has a Battle Royale mode?
I don't, but I do now. But that's really fucking cringy.
A lot of people played it. It's actually like...
Is it good?
It's a decent battle royale thing. It's different, so it's nice. But recently there was a thing where a streamer was playing it, and he said something along the lines of like, when I get a Twitch affiliate, I'm done playing this shitty game. And the CEO of Hi-Rez in chat was like, stop whining and get in a team and play the game how it's supposed to be played. And then they just got roasted. Like, the CEO...
Are you serious?
In chat typed that out because he was mad that the guy didn't want to play the game anymore.
What the fuck? And that just shows you, man. Like, they fucking... I don't know. I don't know. It just... The game got fucking soiled. It was really, really good. You know? And then it just went downhill so motherfucking fast.
It's like they don't care. They just don't care about it
Well,
anymore.
they started releasing gods that are just fucking, like, pointless. Like, when you take time to create a character, you know, in the game that you are passionate and motivated to create, like, what's a really fucking good character? Like, Anubis. Anubis is OP, but he's a really fucking good character, you know? Like, his skill set feels perfect for him, you know?
I like all the Guardians. I think all of their skill sets are perfect for...
Like, exactly. When you make a good character, it feels right. After the first Guardian the first character that felt completely fucking pointless was the ADC, the Chinese one or Japanese.
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name.
Exactly.
Starts with an H.
Fucking Hachiman.
I think that's something like that.
Something stupid. Like, he just felt so pointless. His skill set just felt so fucking...
They would release gods when we were playing that actually seemed interesting and that we wanted to play. And then they just started releasing gods that I didn't care about. They released that one. They released the Cerberus, which just didn't sound fun
It just
at
doesn't
all.
feel right, you know? Like,
yeah.
It doesn't... It just feels fucking stupid, you know? Like...
And it's just so clear that Hi-Rez is like a bandwagoner. Like, Overwatch got popular, so they made Paladins, and then Fortnite and PUBG got popular, and they made whatever it's called.
Exactly. It's just...
Realm Royale, that's what it's called. And...
Fucking stupid.
They're just clearly in it for revenue.
Yeah.
Because they make their games free on purpose.
Well, yeah.
And that's what gets the plays. So... It's just frustrating that they don't care about a game. I'd be fine if they made a Realm Royale or Paladins if they cared.
Like, it's so obvious that they don't care enough to fucking make something good and unique.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's just fucking retarded. Like, I don't understand. Anyways, we've been on Smite for quite some time. Let's go back to YouTube and our streaming, because I know we talked about that. So we're rewinding now back to when we first started going pro in Smite, which was like junior year of high school.
Yeah.
So fuck. Oh yes, we had It's Just Us, and the reason because It's Just Us does not exist anymore.
I wish it did.
Here's what we should have done. We should have downloaded all our videos
and released them on...
And just put them back out on our newer channels, because I miss those videos. And like I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We'll never get that genuine experience.
Hang on. I might have Resident Evil on here.
We'll never ever get that genuine experience.
Nope, I don't.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I thought I had it, but I guess I deleted it.
We'll never get those genuine experiences back. You know, and just to see our first videos, you know, it just would have been better, and we should have just acted about it smarter. But the reason it doesn't exist is because when we first got into YouTube, we did not understand copyright law.
I think it was mainly me.
I thought it was mainly me.
No, it was mainly me. Especially with like streams and stuff. We'd put music up in the background. That's the last one that set it off. It was our 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
That's what made us go. And then we stopped this 24-hour stream early and then deleted our channel.
Did we really?
Yes. I played... I had a waiting thing when we were switching something. I played
Oh
The
yeah,
Legend of Zelda Wind Waker soundtrack.
That's when we were all here at your house,
Yeah.
and we were fucking. I was playing Battlefield 5 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we tried to do 24-hour streams several times. They just never work out. One day, I swear to God, we're doing it.
Yeah.
At least once. To say
Once
that we
I
did
get
it.
a better computer, once I build this new computer,
That's when
it'll be
we need
possible.
it. But anyways, whatchamacallit. So yeah, we tried to do a 24-hour stream as a celebration of how many subs we had. All three of us, me, Steven, and Xander, were all here, and like Steven said, we were playing, and we ended up playing music. Didn't know it was copyrighted. The 24 hours. It wasn't 24 hours, but it was like 8 hours. It was a fat ass chunk of stream, and it all got copyrighted because
I fucked up.
of the 2 minutes of Zelda soundtrack. What the fuck? Anyways, yeah, that's what set it off. We didn't really understand copyright law, and we got a bunch of copyright strikes and claims on our videos and our entire channel, and it got to a point, because with streaming on YouTube, it got to a point where it inhibited our stream capabilities.
Yep.
And so we ended up deleting
It was
the
just
fucking
no
channel.
point
There was
having it.
It was so restricted with how many fucking claims and shit that we got. We just deleted it. And then we say copyright claim. It's not like we ever made money on the videos. You know.
Yeah.
We didn't care about the copyright claims for the money, because we made like 3 cents with all our views. But anyways,
And we don't even get it.
it was never about the money for me, at least.
yeah.
Yeah, or you. It was just
Having fun talking to people.
creating the content. Like, I didn't want to be restricted in the content that I was making, you know? So we deleted that channel. We made a new channel called Play Pals.
At that point, sort of towards the end of It's Just Us, we noticed that Xander had lost interest in doing YouTube stuff. When he'd come over for live streams, he'd just kind of be in his own world. He'd be watching videos. He'd just not being involved in what was going on. And so we kind of made Play Pals without Xander
Yeah.
because he didn't care anymore, which...
We started it with him. He was in several videos, in several streams, but like you're saying, as time went on, it became visibly and, audibly noticeable that he was just completely uninterested in making the content,
Which is fine. I mean...
yeah, I mean, it's nothing against him, but it's just, it felt weird.
Yeah.
Him being here and just being completely disconnected from the experience.
So then me and Trevor started doing videos, just the two of us. We had...
Around this time, did we go on the vacation?
Was Play Pals during the vacation?
I think it was, because we tried a 24-hour stream again.
Oh yeah, that was the first Play Pals.
There was only one Play Pals.
Well, then we erased it, all the shit on it.
We did try to remake that channel several times.
Well,
2 times.
Yeah. So I guess this was the trip. Our
Yeah.
senior year.
So, we were this is senior year now. So we created Play Pals. We're making more videos, making more content. We understood copyright law better. We didn't get copy strikes or anything like that. I think we maybe got one, but I forget what it was.
Something stupid.
Yeah. So then Xander, Steven, and I, even though Xander was disinterested, we were all super close. And we said, hey, it's our senior motherfucking year. After we get out of school, let's go on a trip. Like, we're all friends. Let's go on a fucking trip together. So we planned this fucking trip to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We were going to go to the top of Smoky Mountains, go to Gatlinburg, have a shit load of fun.
We instead of getting a hotel, we got
a cabin.
A whole cabin, which was dope.
Oh,
I still
it was
don't regret that. That was
so
much fun.
I don't regret this trip at all. At all. It was so fucking fun. So first of all, the first mistake in this trip had a fuckload of errors, but I still love it. It is still in my heart. Like, I love this trip. Trip had a shitload of errors. First thing that we did wrong was you can agree with me if or not, but we went to we didn't have a big enough cooler. Okay, never mind. First mistake, we took Xander's car.
Yeah.
Xander's first car was a tiny 4-door, and at the time, Xander's car was cluttered with a lot of his clothes and belongings, and he told us he would clean it out the day before, but he never did. So we didn't have trunk space to store the cooler and the food and the water and stuff like that. So, and also his car didn't have AC in the middle of the hot ass summer.
It was a long ride.
It was a 4-hour ride.
It was a long ride.
So, second mistake was still before we even left. We didn't have a big enough cooler. The cooler was not big enough. We didn't have enough ice to keep the food refrigerated for a long enough time. And
that's why I thought we should have just gone shopping
down there.
Yeah.
That's what we should have done. We
I
should
said
have done
that.
that. I know.
You guys are like, no, we're just going to do it here.
I know. We made mistakes. It's okay.
Right. I was just letting you know. It was my idea and you guys got rid of it.
So yeah, those are the first two mistakes. At least in my opinion. Would you like to list some more before we left? Or?
My legs wanted to die on that entire trip there.
Steven
was a soldier.
had the water had a fucking big ass pack of water on his legs the entire fucking trip sitting down. I offered to switch you seats. He said no. Let that be known. Let the record show you.
So you're not a piece of shit.
Exactly.
I'm just let it happen to myself. But basically we had planned to do the 24-hour stream down in Gatlinburg
because it was during the trip. It was a commemorable moment for our channel and us as friends.
And if we wanted to do it here,
we'd have to be quiet.
Yeah,
we wouldn't be able to.
I have siblings and my parents and stuff. But down in Gatlinburg at this cabin, we're out in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. We can scream. We can hoot and holler.
Yeah.
Also, we acquired alcohol. What?
We're not old enough to drink alcohol, but yes, we acquired alcohol. That was my first
fine.
time trying to drink, and I didn't drink.
I know you didn't. I ended up drinking the shit.
A whole lot. Jesus fuck. I was like, do I need to take the bottle away?
Anyways, the trip was extremely fun. We
Yes.
went go-karting. We hiked to the top of the Smokies, which was beautiful. I still have pictures of all of this.
That was a fucking struggle, man. I'm so out of shape.
We go-karted. What else did we do? We mini-golfed. We went to the aquarium. We went to that fat aquarium. That was dope as fuck.
We just visited a lot of the attractions around. Mm-hmm. We lost Xander's car keys.
Thought we lost Xander's car keys.
We did lose Xander's car keys.
That was very, very, very stressful.
While walking around and visiting several different places, we lost Xander's car keys. So we had to backtrack and pray to God that we could find the car keys.
Luckily, it was at the place that we most recently went to.
Yeah.
Luckily.
It wasn't that big, so it could have only been in certain areas.
Exactly.
Because the place before that was a haunted house.
Yeah.
That was pitch black.
Yeah. So we were like, let's pray to fuck that we don't have to interrupt all this to find car keys, you know? Luckily it was at the first place. We found these car keys to his hot ass car. Oh my fucking god. Anyways.
It was super hot down there. What else I feel like we did something else and we're just completely forgetting it. I mean, we spent one day just hanging out at the cabin. That was like when we first got there.
Well, something really tragic happened back home,
yeah.
And we all kind of needed time, especially Xander, to cope with that situation.
Yeah. So
we took a day off of the trip because nobody was really ready for what happened.
Yeah. But
I'm looking back at my camera roll to see if we're missing anything, by the way.
But I'll basically go, so we get to the cabin. We kind of skipped over some stuff. So we had the 24-hour stream plan. We had made sure with these people that they had internet. We made sure.
High-speed internet. They advertise that they have high-speed internet.
And they didn't have any internet at all. I don't think they had any.
They had it, but it was just completely ass. It was like, it basically was the equivalent of no internet.
Yeah.
Their upload speed was like 2.
Not even.
It was just,
it was like kilobyte upload speed.
It was just the fucking worst. And so we were pissed. And we called up to the
reception area or whatever.
Wherever the fuck we called, and they didn't even know. They're like, yeah, this is normal. We're like, you advertise high speed internet. What the fuck? Nobody could fix it, so we tried to do it, but It just failed completely.
Which kind of sucks because
we even bought a camera.
Yeah,
we bought a camera. We bought a shitload of games. Like
we had a schedule of games planned. We bought the face cam. That was the first time we were gonna do face cam. Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, next time we could probably set it up and have face cam during the podcast. That's just not.
You're right. You're right. No, yeah.
That'd be dope. We could like set up. We could set up somewhere in my room, our podcast area. Get a little backdrop going.
That is dope. That is dope. But you kind of have to rearrange your room.
Yeah, it would probably be over there. I'd probably move the stairs and shit because those aren't even getting used. They don't get used.
Yeah, but your computer's over here.
Okay, then I'll probably move this stuff.
True. Okay. Anyways, let's backtrack. One mistake that I totally forgot, but I wanted to mention. The very first mistake, my bad. The very, very first mistake was how we split up paying for the trip. That was the very first mistake.
So, at the time, I think I either just started working or wasn't working yet.
No, I don't. You weren't working at the time. Xander got a job at Crossroads. I had worked at a horse stable, but the horse stable wasn't paying me too well, and the hours were kind of ass. So Xander got me hired at Crossroads. With him, I started making good money. Steven hadn't had a job yet. He later will be hired at Crossroads.
My parents, for my senior gift, gave me $500 though.
Yeah.
For this trip.
Yeah. So, first fucking mistake is divvying up the cost. And
I still feel bad to this day.
And looking at, cabins and stuff, we should have been more frugal about it. I mean, it was a blast, but we should have divvied it up 1/3 each of the way. What ended up happening was Steven bought all the games in the face cam.
And paid for... We did split the cabin.
Did we?
Yes, I paid for mine. I paid like $200 and something dollars for it, yeah.
Or no, I didn't. Because I paid for... I did all the gas.
And you did all the food.
All the food. We divvied it up in such a fucking retarded way. Like, it made no fucking sense.
Basically, ended up happening, Xander paid for a fuck ton.
Xander paid for a shitload of the trip. Steven and I didn't know the extent of it until, like, months after the trip.
I feel like a piece of shit.
I do feel awful because he paid for so fucking much.
And I know even if I wanted to pay him back, he wouldn't take it.
Well, of course he wouldn't. He's that type of guy. But it's just... I just feel fucking
It got to the
awful.
point where me and Trevor would have to have money ready if we went anywhere. Because if we went to pay, Xander would always be the first to have his card out, give it to the person.
Yeah.
Like, we had to have money prepared and be like, don't let him pay. Like,
yeah, exactly. So it was fucking awful, but...
It was still a good time.
It was absolutely enjoyable, and I love every moment of it. So we had all that go wrong. Other than that, it was a fantastic trip.
We had a fucking hot tub. We spent every night into...
That hot tub was a fucking blast, dude. Holy shit.
It was just so nice. Because, like, you would think, like, hot summer... But those nights were cool. Like...
Oh, it was so fucking
It was nice.
good.
And then we had some great talks. We really connected. I miss that cabin. I missed that trip. It was great. It was one thing I regret not doing, and that was my bad, and I kind of feel shitty for this, is we wanted to do the escape room, but I didn't want to do it with the other people because I thought that would ruin it for us, so we didn't end up doing it because I didn't want to do it.
It was kind of me too. I didn't really want to do it with other people, you know?
I don't know. You were still down with it since Xander was down with it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no.
It's fine. The final straw of this trip was us driving back and Xander's car breaking down. It didn't break down. The engine didn't blow. It was getting way too hot for him to drive. And obviously, if it got to a point, it would blow, which we did not want to fucking happen. So, us being the fucking ignorant ass teenagers that we were, we stopped. And by an AutoZone of all fucking places.
They have no idea what they're doing.
They have no idea. Do not trust a fucking AutoZone employee. If you know what you were doing, go to an AutoZone and buy the parts and fix the shit yourself. Do not take advice from an AutoZone employee. They don't know shit about cars.
We spent so much money there, and
we spent hundreds of dollars trying to fix Xander's car and things like that, and did not work. And we spent hours down there, and I finally was like, I gotta tell my mom. You know, I didn't want to tell my mom because I knew she'd be pissed. I told my mom. She was upset. Not because the car broke down, but because my dumbass didn't call her because Rick is a mechanic. He knows how to fix cars. And at that point, I felt retarded. It's like, why didn't I call Rick? You know?
Yeah, so...
Rick is my stepdad, by the way.
So he calls Rick, and then we're trying to figure out the problem with this AutoZone guy. We've got Rick on the phone.
First of all, here's an example of how let on we were about these AutoZone employees. This sentence that this man said was the last straw for Xander and I, and we were like, fuck you guys, we're not dealing with you. An AutoZone employee was like, you should probably just buy epoxy, that'll fix it. And we're like, okay, so we bought epoxy from them, went out there, put it, went back in, we're like, hey, the epoxy's not sticking. No shit, the man just said, well, yeah, epoxy doesn't stick to rubber. And I just felt this rage come over me. Like, I was like...
I was so done. I was sitting outside, like, ready to lose
shock.
it.
Like, I was just like, okay. After that, I called Rick. Rick told me exactly what to do. He told me exactly what to do. I repeated it to Xander. I said, Xander, go get gallons of water. I will buy radiator fluid. Let's hit the shit.
It started working.
It was working for a little bit. But it eventually didn't.
Yeah, driving...
Xander, no offense. I know I'm no fucking car expert. I don't know that much about cars. But Xander took the radiator fluid and dumped it on the radiator to cool it off. I'm sorry, but that was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. I understand he's trying to cool it off. But it's radiator fluid. Like, that's what the gallons of water are for. Yeah. You know? Like... Oh, my God.
But, so we're driving, after we thought we got the car working. It's already late. We were supposed to already be home by this time.
Which, by the way, we're still 3 hours out from home.
Yes. So we're driving. The car breaks down in the middle of an intersection.
Oh, my fucking God, I remember that.
And... we are just in awe. Like
we're just shook. Like, we're so ready to just be done and live in Tennessee.
And then and then a cop pulls up behind us and flashes his sirens. Flashes his lights and turns out it's sirens. That's what I meant to say. And I'm going to be honest with you. Xander had weed in the car.
Fuck yeah, he did.
And me and Trevor
we knew this. We didn't smoke. So we were like... Nah.
Like, we were like, there's a cop here, Xander has weed in the car, and we're stuck in the middle of an intersection. This is the worst thing that could ever happen. And turns out, this cop was the best thing that could ever happen. He was a
blessing from heaven itself. If there's any proof of a God in this world, it is that officer. I swear to God, he is the nicest motherfucker I've ever met in my life.
How lucky could we get that this officer was a mechanic, a part-time mechanic?
Yeah. Deadass. This officer pulled us over and said, what's the problem? Oh, you know, this. Xander's out there talking to him. No shit. This officer...
immediately knows what to do.
He knew what to do. He told Xander to get in the car, opened up this car. This officer burped this car like it was his bitch. He burped it like it was his baby. He's like, we're like, what's wrong? He's like, nothing was wrong with your car. It just had an air bubble in it. And we're just like, we spent all that money trying to fix something and nothing was wrong. And we actually ended up hurting his car by doing that shit. If we did nothing and would have just done what he did, his car still would be running today. But
and then we ended up, once we got it on, there was still an issue of overheating sometimes. So we pulled into this gas station. This officer got us multiple gallons of water for free.
For free. He made sure the car was running. He followed us on the highway for quite some time to make sure that we were good.
And his name
was Officer Stoney. Oh my God. I can't...
A blessing.
I will say, again, if
there's
any proof at all of God's existence, it is Officer Stoney from Tennessee. I swear to fucking God. How is it even possible that a part-time mechanic pulls us over and then gets us free gallons of water?
And then we got home safe.
We got home safe after that. We were tired as fuck. there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot that was wrong with that trip.
But it was still a great trip.
It was so fucking fun. It was so goddamn
I don't
fun.
regret a thing.
I don't regret a thing at all. At all.
What was your favorite part about it? Mine's like 3 things.
Well, you go first.
So, first off, getting to the top of the Smoky Mountains, that was fucking dope. That
was
sight
amazing.
was amazing.
That was-
I struggled, but it was completely worth the struggle.
That-
So I'm out of shape. But Trevor and Xander are pretty much, I wouldn't say you're more into shape than Xander, but
Okay.
I was struggling. But we finally got to the top, and it was beautiful. Like, I've never seen, like, you see stuff in the movies, like, you see those sights,
fucking
but
gorgeous.
it's not the same.
They don't do it justice. It's so fucking beautiful. Like, and it was. I gotta say that was one of them for me, and because that was a complete flashback. Because the last time I was up there, I was with my grandpa. He's dead now, but the last time I was up there, I was with my grandpa, and just seeing it, it was just like, this is amazing. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like,
and then the second thing would be the hot tub. That was just spending
Yeah.
the nights in there was great.
that we connected so hardcore in there. It was just fucking.
And then
awesome.
I also really enjoyed going to the Mellow Mushroom. That was fun.
Mellow mushroom,
Fucking
bomb pizza,
great pizza.
bomb ass pizza. If you want a pizza joint, find a mellow mushroom near you. This podcast is not sponsored.
I wish it was.
I wish it was.
I want to open up a fucking
Franchise of mellow mushroom.
Yes, up here, because there's none around here.
Holy shit! There's one in Northern Kentucky, and it's right next to a movie theater. That's all I'm saying.
That's where we're
all I'm
going.
saying. We could go there to see Infinity War Part 2.
And then to the Mellow Mushroom.
No, we could go there and then see it.
Oh, okay.
But that's an actual thing, probably. Anyways,
Another time.
Another time. One thing, real quick, before we get off this topic, one thing that we talked about during that trip was making a video game.
Oh yeah.
Never got to do it. We have no experience in programming or coding.
I'd still love to do it, but
It would just take so much of our fucking time and
Yeah.
devotion. Like, it would not...
it wouldn't be possible.
It's possible, just not reasonable, I would say.
Not possible. It's possible for me. I think it's possible for Xander. Not possible for you. Not with your schedule.
Well, yeah, obviously. That's what I'm saying. It's possible, just not reasonable.
Yeah.
You know? Like...
It would take so much longer than...
Yeah.
Right now, if we were to do it, it would take half of our lifetime.
Yeah, it would take so long. Especially because we have to learn how to do it, too.
Yeah.
But I think, making a video game nowadays is the same as let's open a bar. You know, like it's one of those things that people always talk about but never fucking do. You know. So yeah, that after that trip, we got back home. We deleted PlayPals, because
Not yet. That's when we deleted the content on PlayPals and changed it.
yeah.
This is when we committed to just me and you.
So Xander, we had a talk with Xander. He didn't really. He ended up telling us the only reason he does it is because we do.
Yeah.
So he said, "Okay, we're not gonna have you in future videos or anything because we don't want to waste your fucking time, you know." So, like Steven said, we deleted the content on the channel, but we didn't
Which I don't know
delete
why.
the channel. We rebranded the channel. We tried to make it. It fucking failed. And we just deleted the channel.
But that's because at that point, we weren't looking at PlayPals anymore as something a hobby. We were looking at it as a job.
That's what the problem was. We looked at it as a job, and where we should have looked at it as something that we love and enjoy to do, rather than something where we want to pursue as a career. You know, like
because everyone, no one who does YouTube doesn't think I would love to be a YouTuber.
Everyone obviously thinks that.
Yeah.
Everyone obviously thinks I want to make it on YouTube. I want to do this for a living. Everyone obviously does.
But if you're only going in for the sole reason for that, it's just not going to be.
it's not enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's just
Initially we went into it as this is fun, and then we were like, this could possibly be a career. This is a thing that people are doing, and this sounds fun for us. Like we talked about future plans if it worked out, like moving in together, setting up a whole office space for it. So we are just thinking about the future, and then that's when we were going at it as a job because we wanted to make that future a reality.
Yeah.
And
It just didn't. At one point, I specifically remember. At one point, it just it wasn't enjoyable anymore. You know, it just felt like, all right, what are we streaming next?
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, what are we doing now? Oh, we got to finish this playthrough. You know, like, it was just like, fuck that.
Yeah.
So we deleted that channel. We made Slump Chumps, which is our current channel. The reason I'm trying to wrap this up is because I have to go soon.
Oh, yeah.
We made Slump Chumps, which is our current channel. Plus, there's not much to talk about after this, you know, after that whole shit.
Yeah.
We made Slump Chumps, was our new channel. We started streaming and stuff on YouTube, but we figured out it'd be better to stream on Twitch, just because
Twitch is just more meant for the
it's meant for streaming. And, you know, by the way, at the same time we tried to pursue YouTube as a job, YouTube started having all that shit with demonetizing and all the advertisers falling through. So it just didn't make sense for us to do it. But so we went to Twitch. We stream on Twitch now all the time. Xander, after we deleted the channel, there's kind of like a falling out with Xander, and obviously he's not in videos and stuff, but that was a while ago, and so we're not really like friends anymore or things like that. We'll talk to each other.
We're not
at work.
as close as we used to be.
No, not at all. So yeah, and then now we stream on this, and we make the content that we want to make.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, regardless, you know, if people watch, that would make the content 100 times better. But even if people don't watch, I still enjoy doing it. Yeah. You know, like even if this podcast gets no fucking views, I would still enjoy making it.
Like this podcast wasn't planned. We just
you want to
do a podcast?
Here's what happened to this podcast.
Steps it up.
We came downstairs because we have this new mic, and we said, "Man, I want to do a podcast. You want to do one right now?" Yeah, sure. What do you want to talk about? We just talk about our history. All right, fuck it. Let's do it.
Opened OBS, plugged in the mic, hit record.
That's what this was. And it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to sit back and reflect and remember all that shit, you know? And we'll be able to go back to this podcast and listen to it anytime.
Yeah, and maybe we can actually make this into something we actually like do more on YouTube, because we're always going to stream on Twitch. Like, I just think that's something we're going to do. But we still want to kind of make that content for YouTube.
I agree. I think that'd be nice.
So this would probably be like the main source for now.
For YouTube.
For now. But we'll probably try to do some stuff with it. Maybe do guests or do like the face cam thing we were talking about earlier. Just try to see what we could do with it and see if it's anything decent.
All right. I think that's pretty much it for the first podcast.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah.
If you want to suggest any topics or anything that you think we should do with the podcast, let us know in the comments.
For sure.
Yeah, I think
that's it. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to our fucking...
Episode 1.
Episode 1. Fuck yeah, dude.
Have a good one.
Bye.